Hi, and welcome to Frozen Synapse Prime. I'm Flop, and this is a multiplayer match between me and my brother, Ruwen. He is brand new to the game, but comported himself well with sneakiness. It took him quite a while to do the turns, but we did do it all on the same day. And we went back over it afterwards to talk about it. And I thought I would simply share the replay with you. Forgive me if the replay plays out a little strangely. We'll look at everything. He is red and I am gold. Here you can see things have narrowed down to explosives only. And his last soldier biffs it with a rocket. Okay, so let's, yeah, still practicing with these bad boys. Let's go ahead and let me see if I can do this right. Okay, let's pause. Let's go to turn 1 and play that. Okay, let's see where things stand first, actually. Alright, he started off with a rocket launcher, a rocketeer, if you will. Right here, right next to my shotgunner. That is bad news bears for him, since the rocketeer has no close range weapons. Each character has only a single weapon, fires only in a single way, and the shotgun is the close combat grandmaster, owning pretty much everything in close combat except for the most prepared troops. Rocketeers are a little ungainly, but can destroy terrain. They can only hit terrain. I don't believe you can actually hit a vat form with a rocket, and good luck making that happen with the vat forms, which are the soldiers. Kind of Matrix-like reflexes. Every 5 seconds they can do a Matrix dodge. Yeah, so two of my units up here, Rocketeer and Shotgunner. His Rocketeer is almost certainly doomed. We'll see how that plays out. Up here, all alone, my Grenadier. Their range isn't excessive, so he's pretty much out of the first round of combat unless his Grenadier wanders up into like my range. I don't think I took a shot with him on that turn, because then I just have to be concerned about standing still to take the shot would waste movement time. That could get me into the fray, and I can't really reach anything with my explosive in time for the explosive to go off on your turn in that 5 seconds. You want all of your attacks to explode within the 5 seconds. Otherwise, the enemy can see them in flight, can play out how to dodge them perfectly. You don't want to give them that Matrix-esque dodge ability that they have when they play out the next turn. So you want your explosives to either blow up on your turn or immediately at the end of it. Explosives being the Rocketeer and the Grenadier. So, my Grenadier, I'm not really considering part of this fight for the moment. His Grenadier... So, down here is the tricky part. Down here we have my machine gunner, his shotgunner. Note that these white patches are windows that can be seen through and whoever stands behind a box or a window has a serious combat advantage. There is no probabilistic nature to how a fight turns out. One side will always win in a given scenario, or a double KO will occur. Based on if you're behind cover, if you've moved recently, if you've ducked or stood up recently. All these things penalize you except for cover, which is a bonus. So, let us observe how turn 1 plays out. What I decide to do, actually, let's look at it first. Okay, so, I wish I could play it in slow motion. Okay, so, death 1. He decides to suicide his rocket, taking out my shotgunner. That was definitely the best possible choice for him. I went for... It's conceivable I could have got around the corner and shot him before he managed to shoot his rocket. I think it is unlikely. I could have tested that scenario, but since I was playing with him and it was his first time, I didn't get too deep into my calculations. I also don't think I could have run away, but that might have been worth a shot to try and run to maximum rocket distance and shoot him. But I didn't mind that trade. The shotgunner on this big open map is not the most useful. The most useful is probably the machine gunner. So, he shot a grenade here going into this room, which I was definitely not going into, since I knew if I went to the west side of the map with my Rocketeer, I could avoid getting grenaded. And I fired a rocket with with the precision only this game allows with that perfect planning. It's going to go through this window, through this doorway, through this window, through this doorway, and I think explode right here. Or possibly right here. I think it's right here. Also down here, what's happening is my machine gunner juked through the doorway into and out of sight of his to keep his busy tracking me, because it takes a certain amount of time to kill a unit, and he's working on it. He's getting close. I'm breaking line of sight and making contact again to reset that timer to allow time for my rocket to come in. So let's see how that plays out. So here I am backing away from the explosion, because if I were right behind this box it would kill me. I back away to the perfect distance and I move my soldier right back in, and here we neatly do away with his machine gunner while mine lives. Alright, so one thing I was hoping that cover wouldn't be destroyed, but it was. Down here we have a fatal duel where we double KO. My machine gunner and his shotgunner take each other out because my machine gunner was prepared, his shotgunner was moving. By prepared I mean mine was not moving and aiming at him. The shotgunner is just better. How much better? He can move and still be on equal footing with my machine gunner at that range. If it'd been closer quarters, I probably would have lost that duel, but that's okay. He made a great trade with that shotgunner. As I said, shotgunners not the most useful ones in this map. The machine gunner definitely was, so that was a good trade, except I am one unit ahead. And we'll see how the explosive duel plays out. I'm trying to juke him without letting myself get hit, and yeah, just what would have been a better play for him is to avoid walls, because the Rocketeer can only blow things up when it hits a wall or it hits a box. He would have been pretty safe, pretty much out where I kept my Grenadier. The grenade explosions are significantly larger than the rocket explosions, but that's how it goes. So yeah, the fatal move, moving next to that wall. Let us just have a quick recap of the deaths in order. There's this beauty. Oh. There was this poor guy who was too busy looking elsewhere to notice the incoming rocket. You can tell people to ignore enemies. I think it would have been best to move this guy out into the open and try and snipe, say, my Grenadier as he moved in. But, you know, there's always the chance that... That's why I used this guy to keep him busy. That was an interesting replay. Let's try that again. This guy peeks around the corner. Double KO. If he'd moved back, I had this rocket coming in that cleared out this whole section. If he hadn't come around the corner, that was my plan. Bottle him up with my machine gunner and take him out. And then, of course, lastly, this guy walk too close to a wall that a rocket wanted to kill. Alright, and so we turn out with a Pyrrhic victory. This was close quarters nastiness. Very little tactics to go, but then again, Kit has not developed like perfect tactical sense yet, so this probably played to his advantage. Like if I'd been able to set up a machine gunner behind cover, say here, or if we'd had snipers, this might have got a lot more interesting. As is, I think it's totally worth looking over, and I just wanted to take a moment to capture that for you. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.